So is it a read along or a group read? Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and this is Steve Talks Books. Thanks for coming by and watching my weekly update. It's where I talk about what I've been reading, what I'm going to read, what I probably won't get to, and everything else in between. If you'd like to connect with me, the best place is on our forum at pagechewing.com. I can also be found on Vero. It is, I'll leave that link down below. And also, I'm on Twitter at Steve Talks Books. Just want to mention really quickly that I did start the 350-day challenge on Vero. Basically, in a nutshell, it's I have to take a picture every day for 365 days in a row and post it on social media. So I'm doing that on Vero. Lots of photographers joining Vero lately, and I have a soft spot for that. So I did start that challenge. I'm on day 12 by the time you watch this, or 13. So if you'd like to see what I'm taking pictures of and root me on, then go check me out there on Vero. Lots of people coming into Vero, and it's great to see more people using the great platform. So it's been 2 weeks since the last update. The time got away from me last week. I just didn't get to the update. It was a busy week. It's been a couple of busy weeks on a few different fronts. So I apologize for that, but we'll get to everything right now, and I'll try not to make this a 40-minute video. So what I've been reading was The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker, and I did read that with Joseph Carroll, or J.R. Carroll, as you know him on YouTube or as his pen name. We did have a discussion about The Hellbound Heart and the movie Hellraiser. I had never seen Hellraiser, and I went back to watch it when we went and talked about it. And there's lots of movies that just don't hold up over the years. There's some movies you have to take into consideration that they were made during a certain time. So there's certain techniques and certain things that they used during that time. So I tried to keep that in mind, but it was funnier than it was scary. And I did really enjoy the writing on The Hellbound Heart. I thought it was really good. It wasn't great, but I did enjoy the prose and the writing style, so I think we'll be reading more. I think Cabal is the next one we were thinking about reading together, and I think it's back somewhere back there. Anyway, so that was one of the books I read. I also read Orchards by Catherine Silva. It's a short, it's almost like a novelette, I think or a novella. It is following the events of The Wild Dark, which is another great book more people should be reading. I think I'm going to do a spoiler-free or a semi-spoiler-free review on Orchards and The Wild Dark. We did have a spoiler-filled discussion with Catherine Silva about her book, but I think it warrants a review. And with Orchards, the best way I can describe it is it follows one of the characters after the events of The Wild Dark, and it's almost like if your life is a record that's spinning, and it's someone's picking up the needle and moving it to different spots and experiencing different things. So that's the most I'll say about it. I won't say more, but it's a short story that packs a lot of punch, and that's hard to do. So I definitely recommend it. If you've read The Wild Dark, don't read it if you haven't read The Wild Dark, because it will spoil you on the fate of at least one of the characters. So read The Wild Dark first, then read Orchards. So I also finished The Tower of Living and Dying by Adam Smith Spark. That took me a couple of weeks. It was it's not so much dense as the writing style just took me a while to absorb it. And some of the descriptions in the book almost remind me of Stephen King. And I say that because some of the environments are described in really great detail, and sometimes it can overly describe. Sometimes I thought it went a little bit too far with the descriptions, but it's so beautiful to read that I don't mind it too much. So I did finish that, and then I did finish the book after that, The House of Sacrifice. It's the last book in the Empires of Dust trilogy, and that book, wow. I'm as most of you know, if you've been following the channel, I am not squeamish. I read some pretty dark stuff. Violence and brutality and things like that don't really get to me very often. The end of The House of Sacrifice was probably one of the most violent books I've read. That battle, there's a battle, I won't say too much about it, but there's a battle and it is violent in a different way. You know, like the Rift Cycle, as an example. The Rift Cycle has lots of violence. It is gory. It is very violent. It is, but it does it in a science fiction, fantasy, fantastical way. It doesn't feel grounded. There's a battle in the House of Sacrifice that took a lot out of me. It's going to stick with me for a while. That battle was intense, and it felt grounded. It felt like you were a person in a city that's being sacked, and you are helpless, and you have no chance of survival. And that it really, I'm still thinking about that last battle. There was times when I thought I need a break from reading this, because the battle goes on for a while, and it's intense. It's very intense. That whole series is very intense, and it's yeah. So I did finish that trilogy. It is violent. It is dark, bleak. So heads up, anyone thinking about reading it, if you are someone who enjoys characters that you need a character you can latch onto, you'll be hard pressed to find a character who you feel you can root for, or like you can wrap your arms around. So just heads up for those of you, because I know some of you want a character you can root for, and you're going to be hard. It's going to be hard to find one in this trilogy. So just so you know that going in. I also started reading The Warrior Prophet. It's the second book in the Prince of Nothing trilogy. We're having a part-by-part podcast discussion every Friday. I post that on the podcast, and then I post the audio on YouTube. I'm a couple of weeks behind on YouTube for posting, so if you are reading along with us, you can stay up to date on the podcast. I'll leave all the links down below. So let me know down below if you're reading with us. I'm curious if anyone's doing that or not, just out of my own curiosity. I also started Immortelle. It's a novella by Catherine McCarthy. It's a horror novella that I've had on my TBR for a long time, and I just thought it's time to start reading it. Before I knew it, I was 20% in. So, so far, so good on that one. I will also be starting Abaddon's Gate, or is it? I'm not sure. Am I pronouncing that wrong? Let me know down below if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But it's the third book in the Expanse series. We are having a discussion for that next week, so I'll get to more of that here in a second. And I'll also be reading V for Vendetta by Alan Moore. We're having a discussion for this next weekend as well, next Sunday morning. So I'll get to both of those here in a second. So the last 2 weeks have been very busy on the channel, as those of you who've been following probably know. But of course, the Steven Erickson Friday Conversation with Joanna, Philip, and and the Fantasy Network Jimmy. That was quite the experience. I mean, to be able to chat with Steven Erickson, hear a portion of his new book that's not released yet, he's still working on. It was a great time. I was on a natural high all week, and then the following week I couldn't get guests lined up in time, and I just didn't have the energy to organize things at the last minute. So usually by Wednesday, if I don't have something happening, then I just thought I just don't have time to pull this together. So there was no Friday Conversation last week, but there will be one next week. I'll go into details on that here in a minute. We also been having the House of the Dragon streams every Tuesday night. If you want to join us on those, that's all in the forum on the calendar. We also had page chewings, a bunch of page chewing episodes. We had one with Ken Liu. That was a pre-recorded episode. We also had one with Alan Baxter. We had one with Stephen Arian. So it was a busy couple of weeks for page chewing. Like I said, I just didn't have enough time to schedule the Friday Conversation. So this Tuesday, we will have the House of the Dragon discussion for episode 4 with Chris and with Daniel and whoever else decides to join us. We'll also have a Negative Space meetup on Wednesday to discuss Negative Space by B.R. Yeager. It's one of those books that really have stuck with me, so I'll be reviewing that one. We'll have that discussion Wednesday. It'll be spoiler filled, so if you are reading it, come and join us and chat all things Negative Space. That should be a very interesting discussion. There's lots to talk about on that one. This coming Friday, we're having the Friday Conversation with Cassie Sanchez. She's a local author that I actually met at a bookstore, and I was able to get a signed copy of her book and invited her on the Friday Conversation. So looking forward to that. It has a kind of a special place in my heart because it's a local author, so it's pretty neat. Also, we'll be joined with Scott Drakeford, also Red Fury Books. He's a booktuber, and of course Taylor from Made Between the Pages. And it's not on the channel, but I will be recording Dear Dr. Fantasy with Philip Chase next week. I'm not sure when that'll be up on his channel, but we are recording it next week. So excited for that. I'm surprised whenever I get invites for things like that because I usually don't get invited for stuff. So really honored to be invited. You know, it's always great. It's really weird being in the other side because I'm used to being like the host or the person asking questions. So it's weird now when people ask me questions. So wish me luck that I don't make a complete I don't look like a complete moron. So cross your fingers for me. So I also wanted to mention a couple of upcoming group reads. We are starting a group read for the Dandelion Dynasty. Is it group read or read along? I'm not sure. So it's open to anyone, basically. We're going to have a live stream every month or so. And the first live stream is scheduled for Sunday, October 2nd. So that'll be in the morning. We'll be discussing The Grace of Kings. I did talk to Ken Liu during our Page 2 episode, and he will be joining us on live streams after the second book and the fourth book. So come and join us for this group read or read along, whatever you want to call it. It'll be a fun time. This is a series everyone says I'll love. So I've been told don't read this book because I know you'll hate it. So those have all been right so far, especially when Taylor or Yolene or Jimmy says something like that. I was like, okay, I'll avoid this and I'll read that. So I am 100% committed to the series. I already bought the books. So we are doing this. Also, we are reading The Age of Madness. I think we are starting that next month. So we should have dates for that scheduled soon. I'm not sure what channel it will be on, but we are reading that together with Yolene and with Jose. We're going to we read the standalones and we're reading the other trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, Age of Madness. And there's a few other books that I've been tossing around doing group reads for or read-alongs. Berserk, I picked up the first volume of Berserk, and I'll probably be starting that. We're also reading, I wanted to schedule something for From Hell by Alan Moore. There's a few other books that I've been discussing, having like a live stream discussion for. So if you're curious, jump on our forums and take a look and see what we have cooking there. And speaking of the forum, I did make a couple of changes to the section that I have my channel stuff on. I did make that viewable for only members. So if you're a member on the forum, you can get like a sneak peek for all the stuff I have coming on. If I have anything done, I'll post it there first. I had the Ken Liu interview posted there for a few days before it went live on YouTube. Things like that. I'll post news and updates for Friday Conversations, guests that I'm contacting or have been in contact with, and stuff like that. It is free to join the forum. There's no cost. It's just it's a way for me to say thank you for people who support the forum. I'm trying to decide. I think the hosting is up here in the new year, so hopefully it can get enough traction that I don't have to close the doors permanently because it's been around for so long. So for those of you who support the forum, thank you for coming by and being a part of our little community there. So also, I posted a poll on the channel on the community tab of what your favorite content on the channel was. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with all of you. I had been tossing around the idea of stopping reviews because I don't feel like I'm very good at them, and I thought maybe it's time if I just don't do reviews anymore. I enjoy doing them, but I felt like I'm not very good at them. And I thought there's just so many people that are better than me at them, and maybe it's just time I don't do this anymore. But I thought, let me ask and see what happens. So the poll results were very eye-opening. Some of you may say, well, look at the analytics, look at the views, look at the thumbs up, look at the comments, look at the interactions, and I do that already. The thing is that I wanted to ask people who follow the channel, who are here, who subscribe, who kind of hang out, who interact. So I wanted to know that group because with, like YouTube suggestions and search results and things like that, people that don't follow necessarily can still watch the content and still maybe hopefully enjoy it. But the poll was a way for me to see kind of if I was right or wrong with reviews because I didn't think many people like them. So it was a way for me to confirm, to confirm or not what I had in my mind. And as the time I'm recording this, there's about 131 votes. And Friday conversations are almost half. It's 49% for Friday conversations. Book reviews are 24%. Weekly updates is 18%. Page chewing was 8%. And other was 2%. So I was surprised. This surprised me a lot, but it's good that I did this. So book reviews, I'm going to change the format a little bit. I'm going to be adding in some spoilers. I'll still have the section for people who don't like to be spoiled, who like to go into books not knowing anything. I'll have a section for that. And then I'll warn everyone when I'm going to be getting into like minor spoilers. I won't do major spoilers unless we're having a spoiler filled meetup, like a live stream. So I will be doing, I do have lots of reviews to do. I have books that I've read that I wanted to do reviews on. I just haven't. So I have lots of books in my queue that I've read that I want to do reviews for. You know, I did try the YouTube Shorts thing. I thought maybe it's a good way to help grow the channel, like to do shorts. And I have to be honest, I'm not good at doing a 1-minute review. It's tougher than it looks, and the format kind of bothers me. The vertical format that you're limited to. Personally, I don't know. There's something about it that just doesn't feel right to me to do that. So some people are really great at them. I'm just not one of them. So I don't know that you'll see many more shorts like that. I think you'll see just like regular videos. They may be short, like 2 or 3 minutes sometimes, but I don't know if you'll see very many more shorts just because I'm just not sure it's for me. Not sure it's my thing. So you may not see very many more of those. I'm always trying to try different things and see what works, what doesn't work, but I don't know. It's something about it just it feels weird to me. I don't know. And then recording on my phone with, I don't know. It just not my comfort zone maybe. So not sure how many of those, but you will see more reviews coming up. And also want to mention that we did make some changes. I did meet this morning with Taylor and with PL on a meetup, and we discussed kind of page chewing, what we want to do with it, and what our goals are, kind of to get on the same page. So just to let you all know, we do have certain slots now that we will have available for page chewing, unless, of course, there's a special circumstance that needs to be on a certain day. We will have page chewing episodes on either Thursday night U.S. time, Sunday mornings U.S. time, or sometimes Sunday evenings U.S. time. So those will be our slots for page chewings. So we do have some guests that we want to reach out to. We do have some already scheduled. So things are moving along, but we're going to have about twice a month, and we're going to rotate channels. So you'll see one page chewing episode about once a month on the channel, on my channel, and then once a month on Taylor's channel. So just to give you all kind of an idea of what we've been talking about and what we decided, just if you follow the series, it's still going to be happening. It'll just be at certain times, and we'll be rotating hosting channels. Now, so my question for all of you this week is kind of almost like a statement. Maybe it's an unpopular statement. I notice a lot of ratings on Goodreads because it's a 1 through 5 rating system, and a lot of people use 0.5s, like 4.5, 3.5, 2.5, and why don't we just go to a 10-star rating system? Because if people are going to go 0.5s, just do 10 stars, and you can rate the books. I kind of like the 5-star rating system because it's, you have a pretty good idea of what the person thought of it. I mean, of course, everyone has their own little rating system, but maybe a 10-star would be better. That way you don't have to round up or round down. It's just a 10-star rating system. Also, I've been wondering if Goodreads is worth it. I don't really use the stats there. I don't really do much there other than leave reviews once in a while. And I wonder if most readers just go to Amazon and look at reviews there. And I know it helps a lot of authors on Goodreads, and that's the only reason I keep doing it, is to post reviews. Reviews there because I know some people use Goodreads a lot, but just wondering if it's worth it to use. Do you use Goodreads? If so, do you enjoy it? So lately we've been hearing a lot about Lord of the Rings. As I've mentioned before in past updates, I have zero interest in watching it. It's not my cup of tea, and not for any other reason other than it's just not something I'm interested in. I'm not a huge Tolkien fan. Sorry, those of you who are big fans. I hope you watch it. I hope it's everything you want it to be. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it's working out. It's just not for me. I will say I am burned out on all the controversy surrounding it, whether it's right or wrong. It's just kind of exhausting, and I'm not even watching the series. So I wanted to spend this in like a little bit more positive way and ask all of you, what would you like to see adapted? It can be a book, a series. What would you really love to see get adapted? Maybe they can take that billion they spent on Lord of the Rings and take a portion of it and adapt something else. What would you love to see adapted? I know I'm not the hugest First Law fan. I enjoy the series, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't think it's it's a whole nother conversation about the First Law, and we can get into that later. But I'm not the biggest fan, but I think it would make a great adaptation, a great like a series, like a 3 or 4 season series. I think that would be wonderful. So, what would you like to see adapted? Speaking of TV shows, we did finish The Americans, and I forgot how great that finale was. It was so good. There's so many things that were set up that really paid off in the last couple of episodes. I won't spoil anything for you if you haven't seen that series, but it's basically about a husband and wife, or two Russian spies in the 80s who come over, the KGB agents, come over, they're spies, they start a family, and they do like these covert ops, like sabotage kind of stuff and collecting intelligence. And it's a story of their time here in America. And wow, the end of that, it's one of my favorite ends of a series. So I think we've talked about this before, but let me know down below what your favorite finale is to a TV show. Let me know down below, because I think we had this conversation a while back, but it's worth asking again. So let me know what your favorite TV finale is, if you use Goodreads, and what you think about the 10-star rating system, and what would you love to see adapted. Let me know down below. So how are you doing? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? How do you enjoy it? Are you not enjoying it? Let me know down below what your week looked like last week, what it looks like this week. When some of you watch this on Sunday, I will be at a concert. It's a nostalgia bomb. I'll be listening to Alice in Chains, Bush, and I think Breaking Benjamin. So that'll be on Sunday night, my time. So I'll post pictures on Vero for those of you who are interested to take a look. But it's a nostalgia bomb. My 90s self will be very, very happy. So let me know what you have planned this week, how you're doing, what are you reading, watching, or listening to. I always love to hear from you, all the back and forth. I really, really appreciate all of you who come by and watch, and I hope all of you are doing great. And thank you again for taking time to watch and to interact. Really, really appreciate it. There's times when I think I should be doing something else, or is this worth my time? And then someone just leaves a comment, and it makes a huge difference. So thank you so much for taking your time and spending some of your day with me. Really, really appreciate it. So until next time, I will talk to you soon.